Welcome to the Cisco CCNA 200-301 quiz on implementing VLANs in STP, spanning tree protocol concepts. Test your understanding of STP fundamentals, loop prevention, and network stability. This quiz is a great way to reinforce your knowledge and prepare for real-world networking scenarios. Ready to put your skills to the test? Let's dive in. Question 1. Which of the following port states are stable states used when STP has completed convergence? Choose two answers. A. Blocking. B. Forwarding. C. Listening. D. Learning. E. Discarding. Correct answers. A. Blocking and B. Forwarding. Listening and learning are transitory port states, used only when moving from the blocking to the forwarding state. Discarding is not an STP port state. Question 2. Which of the following bridge IDs wins election as root, assuming that the switches with these bridge IDs are in the same network? A. 32769:0:200.1111.1111. B. 32769:0:200.2222.2222. C. 4097.0200.111.1111. D. 4097.0200.2222.2222. 4096.0200.111.1111. Correct answer. C. 4097.0200.111.1111. The smallest numeric bridge ID wins the election. The bridge IDs in the answers break into a decimal priority on the left, a colon, and then the 12-digit hexadecimal MAC address of the switch. Of all the answers, two tie with the lowest priority, 4097. Of those, the correct answer lists a lower MAC address. Question 3. Which of the following are transitory port states used only during the process of STP convergence? Choose two answers. A. Blocking. B. Forwarding. C. Listening. D. Learning. E. Discarding. Correct answers C. Listening and D. Learning. Listening and learning are transitory port states used only when moving from the blocking to the forwarding state. Discarding is not an STP port state. Forwarding and blocking are stable states. Question 4. Which of the following facts determines how often a non-root bridge or switch sends an STP hello BPDU message? A. The hello timer as configured on that switch. B. The hello timer as configured on the root switch. C. It is always every 2 seconds. D. The switch reacts to BPDUs received from the root switch by sending another BPDU 2 seconds after receiving the root BPDU. Correct answer. B. The hello timer is configured on the root switch. Non-root switches forward hellos received from the root. The root sends these hellos based on the root's configured hello timer. Question 5. Which of the following RSTP port states have the same name and purpose as a port state traditional STP? Choose two answers. A. Blocking. B. Forwarding. C. Listening. D. Learning. Correct answers. B. Forwarding and D. Learning. RSTP uses port states forwarding, learning, and discarding. Forwarding and learning perform the same functions as the port states used by traditional STP. Question 6. RSTP adds features beyond STP that enable ports to be used for a role if another port on the same switch fails. Which of the following statements correctly describe a port role that is waiting to take over for another port role? Choose two answers. A. An alternate port waits to become root port. B. A backup port waits to become a root port. C. An alternate port waits to become a designated port. D. A backup port waits to become a designated port. Correct answers. A. An alternate port waits to become root port, and D. A backup port waits to become a designated port. With RSTP, an alternate port is an alternate to the root port when a switch's root port fails. A backup port takes over for a designated port if the designated port fails. Question 7. What STP-RSTP feature causes an interference to be placed in the forwarding state as soon as the interface is physically active? A. STP, B. Ether channel, C. Root guard, D. Port fast. Correct answer, D. Port fast. The port fast feature allows STP-RSTP to move a port from blocking to forwarding without going through the interim listening and learning states. STP allows this exception when the link is known to have no switch on the other end of the link, removing the risk of a switching loop. Cisco created port fast before the IEEE released RSTP, but RSTP included the equivalent feature as well, so it is a feature of both STP and RSTP. BPDU guard is a common feature to use it the same as port fast because it watches for incoming bridge protocol data unit BPDUs, which should not happen on an access port, and prevents the loops from a rogue switch by disabling the port. Question 8. Which optional STP feature reacts to a subset of incoming STP BPDUs to disable the port but allows and processes some other STP BPDUs? A. Loop guard, B. BPDU guard, C. Root guard, D. Port fast. Correct answer, C. Root guard. Root guard on a switch interface monitors incoming STP BPDUs, processing them as normal with STP, with one exception, superior BPDUs. Superior BPDUs identify a new root switch with a better lower bridge ID. Root guard reacts to receiving such a BPDU and disables the port. For the other answers, BPDU guard monitors for incoming BPDUs, but disables the port for any received BPDU on the port. Neither port fast nor loop guard monitor incoming BPDUs or react to them. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this video helped you on your journey to acing the Cisco CCNA 200-301 exam. Keep in mind, the CCNA exam doesn't have a fixed passing score. It typically falls between 800 and 850 out of 1,000, so aim high during your studies. If you have any questions or tips to share, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on future content. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next one.